Welcome. In this playthrough of Marvel Champions the card game, I have my first plays with Scarlet Witch going up against Crossbones. So for our setup, Scarlet Witch, I am using the pre-constructed deck, so nothing has changed there, straight out of the box. She has a thwart of 2, attack of 1, defense of 2, chaos control. It's an interrupt. When boost icons on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. Limit once per phase. Hand size of 5, hit points of 10. Alter Ego, recovery of 3, superpowered siblings. As an action, discard 2 cards from your hand. Draw 2. You can draw 3 instead if Pietro is in play. Limit once per round, and a hand size of 6 on this side. So right off the bat, going against standard mode, so versions 1 and 2. Scheme of 1, attack of 1. While he has a weapon attachment, his attacks gain piercing. So we discard any tough status cards from the target before dealing damage. 12 health per player. Next version, Scheme of 2, attack of 2, and gets a machine gun. So he's got 3 schemes on this one, and they are rather low for threat. So we are going to be starting with Crossbones 1 and 2, experimental weapons, which we have here, standard sets, Hydra Patrol, Weapon Master, and Legions of Hydra. For setup, create the experimental weapons deck and set it next to the main scheme. So we'll shuffle those and set them to the side. Then we are going to reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. So threshold of 3 on that one. And this is going to be the exosuit, power gauntlets, a laser rifle, and an energy shield. All right, so finishing setup. Got our weapons here. And we are going to start with the laser rifle in play. So +1 attack. Attach to the villain, force interrupt. When attached villain attacks, the attack gains range. So if we have retaliate, it won't affect. 0 action, spend an energy and physical resource to discard the card. And we'll give the encounter stack a shuffle with our 2 obligations in here. And our hero cards, starting with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Crisis Averted, Power of Justice, Multitasking, Warp Reality, a Hex Bolt, and a Magic Shield. So right off the bat, threat is not an issue, so not too concerned about keeping those. Power of Justice is a maybe. Warping Reality, I mean, I don't like holding on to cards. So that's something I want to draw into. Magic Shield would be nice. But I feel like there's better things. And Hex Bolt, just to see how bad things can get started, we'll go with that. So we'll keep those 2 and 4 more. Another Hex Bolt, Swift Retribution, Quicksilver, and Multitasking. So we're going to start with her ability to discard 2 cards to draw 2. Like I said, threat's not an issue at the moment, but it will be, and we won't have any of our cards, and that doesn't seem like it's going to help us. So Spiritual Meditation and Genius. So continuing with that, we are a Mystic. So as an action, draw 2 cards, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. So drawing into Turn the Tide and Agatha Harkness. So we'll discard that. We'll bring in Agatha, pitching a Hex Bolt, Alter Ego action, exhaust her, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 of those to your hand, place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So we'll go ahead and do that. Meditation, Swift, and we'll go with an ally. So these go on the bottom in any order. And while I wanted to use the Hex Bolt, Quicksilver seems pretty good, so we'll pay 4 for that. Calls to 4, 4 health, 4 to 1, attack of 2, action, ready Quicksilver. So he's going to come in, swing for 2, down to 10, take his damage, ready, swing for 2 more, down to 8. Another damage. And we'll flip over and attack for 1. So end her turn. 5 cards. We're going to go ahead and keep him. So 4 more. There we go. Got her crest, swift, heroic, intuition, and some strength. So threat on the main scheme goes to attack. We're going to go ahead and just take it. So base 2, 3. We're good with that. Down to 7 health. Get an encounter card, full auto, hero mode. Discard X card from the top of the encounter deck where X is his attack. Take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded this way. His attack is 2. So there's our first 3. So what we're going to do, when boost icons, when an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count that number of boost icons on that card instead. So we're going to take 2 from that one. And still taking 5 damage, down to 2 health. Well, that did not go well. Oops, that's a 1, not a 5. So Quicksilver attacking for 2, down to 5, and ready. Going to bring in another ally. After he thwarts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Thwarting for 1. And we'll take the 2 damage. Down to 3. Actually, I played that wrong, but too late. Should have put this in first. Boost icons on encounter card are counted. Exhaust her crest, increase or decrease the number of boost icons on that card by 1 for this count. Could have done some more damage. And I think we need to flip over and heal. So up to 5 health. We'll go ahead and use her ability. Molecular Decay, Spiritual Meditation, and a Hex Bolt. We will... I don't think the ability is going to help us there. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep the Hex Bolt. End our turn. Drawing 5 more cards. Turn the Tide. Energy. Heroic Intuition. Molecular Decay. And a Magic Shield. So we get a threat. Goes to scheme for 1, 2... and we can decrease that by 1. So we just go up to 2 threat. Then our encounter card, Shadows of the Past. All right, this is going to get interesting quick. So Luminous comes in. Scheme of 2, attack of 2, 5 health. After she activates against you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If 2 or more boost icons were discarded this way, deal yourself 1 encounter card. The scheme, increase the number of boost icons on each encounter card by 1. This comes in with 2 threat. And then just 2 cards here, because she has 2 obligations. So most of the others have 3 additional cards they shuffle in. So the villain had a good turn that time. All right, we'll use Agatha. So multitasking, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you paid for this using a mental resource, remove 2 threat from a different scheme. That would be sweet. Chaos Magic. That's another good one. And Crisis Averted. So play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to that card's cost. Multitasking is probably the card I should take, but I'm going with some Chaos Magic. Oh, and those go to the bottom of the stack. All right, we're going to flip over to our Scarlet Witch side. We are going to thwart for 2. Then turning the tide. After your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy, which will take Crossbones down from this version, bringing out this version. So he still has, when he has a weapon, gains piercing. Now he's searching encounter deck and discard pile for his machine gun and attach it to him and shuffle the encounter deck. So there that is. And his machine gun. So attach the crossbone, gets 2 ammo counters per player. When he attacks you, remove 1 ammo counter from this card and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons on the discarded card. Then we're going to create some chaos after we give him his health. So 14 health is where he goes to. So Chaos Magic, hero action, play a card from your hand ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to that card's printed resource cost. We're going to play Molecular Decay, hero action, deal 5 damage to an enemy and discard the top 2 cards in the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 additional damage to that enemy. So I can definitely kill here or do a lot of damage there. And I'm just going to guarantee she goes out. So we would be, oh, good grief. Could have almost ended this game. Nice to get those 2 out of the way. So overkill. Then because of Chaos Magic, 3 more cards go away. Then we are going to thwart for 1. Yeah, we could have just won the game with that, because each one of those would have been +1 icon. But anyway, so thwarting for 1 and dealing 2 damage because of that, down to 12. Then we will bring in a Magic Shield. When a friendly character would take any amount of damage, discard Magic Shield to prevent 3 of that damage. Then we're going to do a Hex Bolt. Discard the top 3 cards in the encounter deck. For each card discarded this way that has boost icons equal to 0, which isn't going to happen because they're all +1. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. If it's 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. 2, draw a card. 3, place a status card on a character. So 3 cards. First, it's going to be 2. So remove 2 threat from a scheme. Now we're back to normal. 2, remove 2 threat from a scheme that we don't have. And that's going to be 1, dealing 2 damage to an enemy, down to 10 health. And yes, I'm assuming you do them 1 at a time, so that one went off and changed the others. So end of our turn. Drawing 5. Crisis Averted, Molecular Decay, a Hex Bolt, Magic Shield, and some speed. So add a threat. We're going to get attacked. Quicksilver will defend. And when he attacks, remove an ammo counter. Take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons discarded this way. So it's going to be 1. We're going to make it 0. Then the attack is a base 3. Give the villain a tough status card if you cannot heal 3 damage. So he gets tough, and Quicksilver didn't make it. Then our encounter card, the villain attacks you. Let's see, yeah, defending. Using that. It's going to deal 1 damage, which we will take. All the uses are done, so that gets discarded, and now 3, 4 damage, and he didn't make it. So back to our turn. We are going to attack for 1 to get rid of toughness. See if we get lucky with molecular decay this time. Spending 3. Deal 5 damage to an enemy, discarding the top 2 cards in the encounter deck. For each boost icon, deal additional damage to that enemy. So base 5, 0. So we're doing 5, 6, 7 damage, taking him down to 3 health. And I think we're going to flip over. Use Agatha. 2, 3. And none of those are that great at this moment. We'll keep the Power of Justice. And end our turn. So we'll go ahead and keep those 2, drawing 4 more. Crisis Averted, Multitasking, Swift Retribution, and Spiritual Meditation. So we get a threat. He's scheming for 2, 3, 4. So we're done with this one. Just the Infinity Stone. When revealed, reveal the top card of the Experimental Weapons deck. So we've got an Energy Shield attached to the villain. He now has Retaliate 1. We can spend an Energy and Metal to discard that card. Counter card, Cornered Staff. When revealed, discard 1 card per player from the top of the encounter deck. Place an additional threat here for each boost icon on cards discarded this way. It's getting 3. We can reduce that by 1. So it's going to get a total of 5. Goes to our turn. We are just going to go ahead and flip over. We will bring in speed because we can. So thwart a 2, attack of 1. After speed thwarts, ready him. But we're not going to. So this is when this card gets really good. Hero action. The villain schemes. Deal 4 damage to the villain. So he's going to scheme for base 2, 3, 4. And then he takes 4 damage. And he is done. So Scarlet Witch was able to keep her chaos in control. And it was interesting to see the variation of damage we got from this. I think the one time we had 5, 11, 12, 13 damage that could have happened because of that. And then the next time we did it, we barely ended up with 6 damage. So very swingy card. So all in all, I like her with Justice. There's some very good new cards in this set. And there's definitely 2 of them. All right, so preparing for expert mode. I am switching everything out. He does have a lot of minions in there, so I want to be a bit more aggressive. So I am using the new cards there. So play only if we have the Avenger trait. Hero action, deal 2 damage to the villain. Deal X additional damage to the villain, where X is equal to his stage number. So we're spending 2 to either do 4 or 5 damage. Piercing strikes, since he can get toughness. Relentless assaults, because I typically don't make aggression without these. Then a Mockingbird. I go ally heavy, Valkyrie, the Hulk, and Brawn. Thor, Spider-Girl, and She-Hulk. Lie in Wait, Helicarrier, Downtime, and Lockjaw. And now that I'm looking at this, I think I'm going to take Brawn out. I want to be able to do some damage with Hulk, and I'm afraid of the mental resources. So replacing with Sentry. So as you can see, this whole deck is built around not letting the Hulk jump out. So all physical and energy. And we'll see how this works. All right. Got the expert cards in here. Crossbones with his machine gun. 14 health. And he wants an experimental weapon. And that is going to be an exosuit. That's not good. +1 scheme, +1 attack. Spend one of each resource to get rid of it. And for Wanda, she'll get 6 cards. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Relentless Assault, not good first turn. Warp Reality, also don't want. Don't want. Quicksilver, Piercing Strike, not needed. All right, keep those 2. She-Hulk, Hexbolt, Shield, and Thor. All our allies at once. So use her ability to discard 2, downtime, and decay. We will flip over. I'm going to bring in Thor for 4. So thwart of 1, attack of 2, 4 health. Do player from your hand, deal 2 damage to the villain. 3 if we paid using a physical resource, which we definitely did. So 3 damage to him, down to 11. Swing for 2 more, down to 9. And then swing for 1, down to 8. End of turn, we'll keep the decay. So we've got our Browbeat, Helicarrier, Chaos Magic, Power of Aggression, and that's going to be our 5 cards. All right, gain a threat. Goes to attack, shoots us with his gun for 3. We'll use her ability to interrupt when we're counting to just get shot for 1. Down to 9. And I think I'm just going to take it. 1, 2, 3. 3 damage, down to 6. Counter card. The villain in each minion engaged with you attacks you. We get shot again. For nothing. Attacking for 3. I don't think I'm going to be that lucky. Defending. So we're taking 3, down to 3 health. Not a good start. But we survived. So we're going to do some Chaos Magic. Play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from a top and counter deck equal to that card's printed resource cost. So 1, 2, and 3. Then for decay, hero action, deal 5 damage to an enemy. Discard the top 2 cards in the counter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 additional damage to that enemy. So 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like we counted on it. So down to 0. So flipping over. Now he's got a scheme of 2, attack of 3, still has the piercing. Reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck and 16 health. All right, energy shield. He now has retaliate. Not cool. Well, we'll go ahead and do this. We're an Avenger, so we're going to deal 2 damage plus what his stage number is. So that's going to be 5 damage. Down to 11, but he punches us for 1. Then swing for 2, down to 9. Down to 3 damage. And I think we need to flip. An ender turn. I think this is going to be a quick game, so we just want attacky stuff. That's not going to help us. So we've got a shield, another beat, so that's good. Hex bolt to be good. That's better. Another bolt, and piercing strike. So we're getting a threat. Scheming for 3, 4. but it only needed one more. So the Infinity Stone, flip it over, gets another experimental weapon, and starts with a threat on it with a threshold of 6. All right, got a laser rifle, +1 attack. And counter card, Shadows of the Past, not good. So Luminous comes out, scheme of 2, attack of 2, 5 health. After she activates against you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If 2 or more boost icons were discarded this way, deal herself an encounter card. Then the next evolution, increase the number of boost icons on each encounter card by 1. That gets 2 threats. Then we shuffle these in here. And using her ability, discarding 2 to draw 2, Decay and Genius. We're going to heal for 3, going up to 5 health. Flip over. Thor's going to attack for 2. Does not have guards, down to 7. Then Molecular Decay. So dealing 5 damage, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 5, starting over, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. And this card is pretty awesome, especially when the side schemes help us out. So that was the Scarlet Witch, taking on Crossbones in Expert Mode. As always, hope you enjoyed this video, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.